The property market is about to crash. There's going to be a major correction and it's all going to fall down around us. So why am I still buying property? A lot of you guys watching this YouTube channel, you've been asking me in the comments, why are you still buying when you're doing these economy updates? You're saying there might be a correction later on in the year. It might drop by 5 or 10%. Why aren't you waiting to buy property? And in this video, I want to break down why none of that matters to me and why it shouldn't matter to you too. For those that don't know me, my name's Jamie York. I've been investing in property for the better part of a decade right now, and I've put this together, the whole channel, to add as much free content and value to you so you can make wise and educated decisions before jumping in with both feet. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, I would love it if you get value from this to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you get value from this video in particular, make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithms. So why do I still buy? So as I said, a lot of you, my subscribers that have watched the videos, first of all, thank you so much for your commitment to watching these videos. I hope you're getting value from them. And I'm getting questions from you. You've said about the correction, Jamie, why are you still buying property? Why aren't you waiting? And there's a few different reasons around that. So first of all, if you've not been watching them, obviously COVID has had a massive impact. There's been the Black Friday effect from the lockdown last year, where the market was completely closed and then suddenly opened 3 months later, and people go, buy. Then there's the furlough scheme, then there's the C bills and B bills, and the government supporting everyone as much as they can. And then they're extending furlough, then there's the stamp duty, all of this stuff, and money has been pumped, so much so that we've seen tremendous growth in the economy in just the last year. And I'll go through some statistics from the Office of National Statistics, which is where I've got these numbers from, so that you can get an impact of that. But to give you an idea, during the first lockdown of 2020, we were negotiating really strong discounts. I'm talking in some locations up to 30% discounts, and then suddenly it went away. Fast forward to now, and I've got the number here. From January 2020, the average property price in the UK was 231,000 to January 2021 being 250,000. All of these figures, by the way, are rounded down to the nearest £1,000. So isn't that staggering considering the year that we've had? Okay, now do I think there's going to be a correction at some point? Yes, I do. Okay, now here's the problem. All of these predictions and ideas and analysis of the economy that I'm coming across, they're guesstimations. Will there be a correction? I'm fairly certain that at some point there will be that correction. But when will it be? Will it be in November of this year after the summer? Will it be after furlough ends? Will it be after the stamp duty? Will it be 6 months later once the market's calmed down? Will it be next winter as it's getting close to Christmas and people are really starting to feel the impact? All of the retail shopping centres are closing down and they've tried hanging on with the skin of their teeth. Will it be 3 years from now? Will it be 5 years from now? Honestly, I think there's a really strong argument for each of those. And I think if you talk to some different economists, which I am definitely not qualified to call myself that, they could have different opinions. It's kind of like all of these doctors online having their opinion of the pandemic that's happened over the last year. And you have doctors with all these credentials saying it's the worst thing ever. And then you've got doctors with great credentials saying actually it's nothing to worry about. Well, who's right? I don't know. And it's the same with this. Yes, I've got my opinion on the correction, but I'm staying close to that staple in that you don't wait to buy property, you buy property and wait. So when I'm investing in any asset class, I'm very clear on my exit. So for example, people go, Jamie, do you invest in cryptocurrencies? Yes, I do. I've got a fairly sizable chunk of money in cryptocurrencies, but it represents now about 3% of my net wealth. So I don't want to lose that, but I'm very clear that I'm willing to lose that. I'm also very clear that if one of my holds goes up 50% suddenly, I'm selling that bad boy, because I'll be completely honest, I don't have a clue how to value a cryptocurrency. I'd make the argument that not many people in the world know how to value it. And I think they're incredibly high risk investments. And if you're getting started in investment, I don't recommend it at all. It's a stupid investment in my opinion. even though I'm invested in it. I also have different stocks and shares. I'm also invested in index funds that are for the longer term. And I know roughly my stocks and shares that I invest in. So I love Games Workshop. I'm pretty big on them. JD, pretty big on that as well. I know I've got a 2 to 5 year plan, and I know the prices that I'm going to exit in, and I think they're undervalued stocks. With the FTSE 100, 250, all shares, some foreign accounts, all of that, I know that I am continuously adding to them over the long term because I know the long-term increase, innovations and growth through inflation and the like, that I'm going to get a return on that. So what's my exit within property? Well, for buy-to-let property, it sounds morose, but it is true. My exit is death. Okay, so if you understand the long-term economics of property, honestly, a year or two of going down, up, left, right, wherever it's going, really won't matter to you. So let me give you some statistics. So since 1950, in fact, since 1086, since the Doomsday Book and all of that was created around the value of property, on average, property prices, give or take, have doubled every 10 years. Now, is the past a guarantee of the future? No. Of course not, but it is a fairly strong indication of it. Do I think it's going to double every 10 years? No, I don't think it's going to continue at that. I think it's a little bit ambitious. But I'm also fairly logical, and I'm talking about the UK market here. We are on a relatively small island, and our growth in population size is going up and up and up and up, and it's growing faster than a lot of countries and slower than some. But we're not a massively aging population. So for example, in Japan, it's a very slow growth population. People are having kids a lot older, whereas here we seem to be getting younger and younger, right? Definitely where I'm from anyway. And so naturally, there's only a certain amount of supply of housing stock. In the UK as well, we also have a space or land called Greenbelt land. Okay, and Greenbelt land you just can't build on at all. It's incredibly difficult. And you also have areas of outstanding natural beauty. Okay, and you can't build on that either. So you've got all of this area, you've got quite a lot of space to build in the UK, but you're not allowed to build on it. Now, if you understand basic economics, supply versus demand, demand is increasing at an exponential rate, and supply is just not keeping up, and it just won't be able to keep up. We've got a massive housing crisis in the UK that is systemic, and it's going to be huge over time. Now, from a human perspective, that's really shit. Okay, and it's really crap. But from a capitalist and investment perspective, that's great. So this is why the whole term of you don't wait to buy property, you buy property and wait comes into play. And I think you should fully embrace this too. Now, let me take you through some statistics over the last year, and in fact, the last 10, 15, and 20 years that you can apply to your logic. So what I want to do is take you through a period that is actually been a bloody hard period of time. We're talking 15, 16 years, and I'll go through some statistics here. We've had a lot of black swan events. If you don't know what a black swan event is, you should expect the unexpected in life. And these are the unexpected events that you expect to occur every 12 years. And we've just had a clusterfuck of a couple of decades, okay, that have really smashed us in the face. So I'm going from the financial crisis of 2007 to 2008, which is absolutely nuts, one of the biggest ones that's ever been there, through to Brexit, different governments coming in, new policies coming in, the Brexit actually coming through, and of course what's happened over the last year. Okay, and there'll probably be a couple more impacted from that, and of course good old Trump coming into power. Cheers, mate. And then all of that has had a dramatic impact in terms of black swan events. The reason why I'm really reiterating that is we've had a fairly shocking time in terms of disruptions to the economy over that time. And yet we are still fairly stable. And I want to show you over that period that's been pretty harsh. You know, I'm not comparing it to, 1929 and the wars and the Great Depression, because obviously I wasn't there. I didn't feel the impact of that. But just logic dictates how difficult it's been. So this is from the Office of National Statistics, so fairly reliable data, I would say. So over the last 5 years, first of all, rental increases. Over the last 5 years, it's increased across the UK at around 10%, not per annum. That's over that period. The great thing is, let's say your rent is £1,000 and over that 5-year period, it's increased to 1,100. That extra £100 is obviously pure profit. The reason that's important is from a rental perspective, it's beat inflation. Technically what they base inflation on. I think inflation's a bit higher from the impact that I felt, but it's been higher, if not the same or higher than inflation. What that means is you are building genuine wealth. Okay, the reason that's important is if inflation's at 2% and you're increasing at 1%, you are losing money over time because the value of money deteriorates with inflation. A video for another time, and this isn't an economics lesson. But because it's been increasing, I know that the preservation of wealth has been ticked off for me and the growth of wealth has been ticked off for me. But that's not just it. Let's look at the overall economy and the average house price in the UK. Now, I can already tell there's going to be some people going, that's not in my area, or I'm in the northeast, it's not increasing price since, blah, blah, blah. This is the average of the UK, and you just need to be a bit smart and selective about where you're investing and look at the infrastructure, etc. For example, if you're investing in 35 grand properties in mining towns that there's nothing else there that are always going to be around that price, then that's your issue, okay? Whereas if you're investing in 70, 80, 90 grand properties where there's great infrastructure and gentrification going on, probably a smart move. So let's go through these numbers. I'm going to be looking down a little bit, so I apologize for breaking contact, but I want to get these numbers accurate. So let's go back to 2005. So here we are in 2005, where the average house price is £150,000, 1500. And remember, I've rounded down to the nearest thousand. And I'm just going to go up in 1 year increments. 2006, 159, 07, 170, 08, 185. And then we had the crash. Oh my God, wouldn't it have been horrible to do this? Yes, if you were over leveraged. 2009, 157,000. 2010, 167, and then we flatlined a little bit. Okay, this was the financial crisis. If you remember, the biggest problem here was the lack of finance in circulation. So it was massively restricted. Banks were screwed over because of subprime mortgages. And that's the unique thing about the last recession, is that money was restricted. So we had some stagnant years. 2011, 167, 2012, 165, 13, 167, and then we start getting out of it. So we were suffering there for 4 or 5 years, really trying to get back on our feet. But notice how, even in one of the worst recessions of my life, granted I'm 29 years of age, I get it's been much worse, or actually it's been pretty bad, but this was bad. Even then, from 2005, we then go to 2014, 178, 2015, 190. I'll pause there for a second. Even in one of the worst decades and worst recessions that there's ever been impacting the UK, we've still gone from that original 150 up to that £190,000. That is a £40,000 increase, or give or take about 28% increase in value. That's pretty solid, considering that is over a 10-year period on top of the rentals that have been coming in. Then it gets interesting. 2016, 205,000. 2017, 215,000. 18, 224, 228. 2020, this is all in January, by the way, 231,000. And then, of course, 2021, 250,000. And it's only increased since then, by the way. And that has been during the last year, which has been absolute clusterfuck for the whole world. We're still gone up £19,000 in average house value. So I'm going to allow you to make your own conclusions for this. Usually I do a big roundup of my opinion, but hopefully now you understand why I continue to invest in property, because I'll be completely honest, I'm buying for the long term. So even if I bought something today, in fact, I completed on one today, if the market on Monday morning crashed by 10%, I genuinely don't care. If anything, I'm quite excited because now I get to go out shopping and I get 10% more for my money than I did today. Okay, so I'm not bothered by the market going down. That's like breaking down in the middle of a shopping center because they're doing 10% discounts on everything. Okay, you don't see people breaking down. You should get excited when that correction comes because you've got even more opportunity than the crazy opportunity that's there. But that's just my opinion. What I'd love, if you got any value from this video, is to hit the like button, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. But I'm really interested, genuinely interested in this. What are you doing in property? Because for me, I'm not waiting to buy property. I'm buying property and waiting. What are you doing?